So we're going to start with something which I think everybody would be interested in, how to reverse aging, right? Now before we start with this particular topic, how to reverse aging, what is normally when you talk about ages, what do you facilitate the process of aging along with what are the changes that we come across as we reach certain ages in our life? What are the certain processes that come across as we talk about aging? There are certain processes we always come across. Okay, these are the things which you'll have difficulty.
Wrinkles.
Wrinkles, that's right. Along with wrinkles, what are the other problems? Sorry, movements. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's also along with the skin problem.
Eyes, ears.
Yeah. Okay. Slowly, like all your bodily processes start getting degraded, right? Now that's one process. So when you talk about aging, the first thing is that there is a degradation, we say. Okay, this degradation could be in the body's activity or it could be in the metabolic processes. Metabolic processes may find your movements have become difficult. Earlier you could have been walking for say about 5 kilometers and all. Now even just walking a few steps also would be troublesome and all. So that is, we say, the degradation definitely occurs, which maybe in certain peoples it would be affected a particular pattern. You say if you have a certain genetic tendency, like you say my father always have the problem related with osteoporosis, so even I am inheriting that. I say my mom used to have troubles with respirations, and also even I have a tendency to have those sort of things. So apart from this, what are the main things that we all gets really scared about? What's the main fear whenever you talk about aging? Everybody gets scared. Oh my, I don't want to age, I don't want to we all get scared about this. Okay, aging, I'm reaching 50s, oh now the things is going to be tough. So what is the thing that we all are so scared about in the process of aging?
Memory loss.
Memory loss, that's a very good point. Memory loss is also there, right? What else?
Bodily resistance.
Okay, you become weak because your immunity gets lesser and lesser as you age. That's right. What else? Anything else you would like to contribute? Dementia, that's what he said. Memory loss, that's right. You can come over here. I think you'd be comfortable. You're sweating a lot.
Yes.
You came from out there, come over here. Get yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Welcome. See, when we talk about...
Look, how one we would look.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the biggest fear that we all have. The look, the appearance. Okay. Okay. Now you say the appearance, your appearance would change. Now today maybe your skin is very tight. It is your complexion is good, but maybe because pigmentation, lot of pigmentation occurs, lot of melanin would be formed and all, so your skin color changes. Many people in their 60s and 50s they start having those outgrowth muscle type of growth and all. So all those factors are there, right? But I would say when you talk about aging and when you talk about anything which is connected with this factor, age is what? Age is what? I would like somebody to define this word called age.
There's no such a thing as just age. You have
Yeah.
to take the chronological
Uh-huh.
and also the biological.
Yeah.
Each cell will age differently. Say chronologically I might be 50 years, but my hair might already be 70.
That's right. So you mean to say each cell is at a different stage at a particular cycle. So maybe certain changes which would be occurring at 70s, a person would have experienced it maybe in 50s, the other person may have got it at the 60s and now. That's also good. That's also a good point.
It can
Very
be the
good.
other way around also.
That's right.
Suppose somebody is past 80, he looks very young. So, but if she's not having that
See, I know, that's what I'm telling you. In my circle, I have got people who have crossed, not 80s, they're into 85s. Then I have recently come across somebody who is more than 90 years of age. Okay, this person whom I'm talking about, he's 84 years of age. And he's so agile and absolutely fit and fine. He does all his activity himself. He drives his car, he drives his scooter. He's all independent, okay. Everything and anything he does, he gets up at around 4 o'clock in the morning, goes to sleep by 9:30. Throughout the day he is awake and his memory is so sharp. You talk about anything which is connected with herbalism, you talk about anything which is connected with spiritualism, all the herbs and all original formulas of herbal formation of memory or anything, whatever would be a problem, he knows it by heart. There's not a single sort of dementia which is occurred. Sometimes
exception, I think.
Not exception, I would say the age, this factor has been hitting us from last 10 to 15 years, and specifically from last 10 years. Right? If you see around 10 years back, there wouldn't many people who would talk about aging. There wouldn't be many people who would really care about it. Right? So what is the thing which has made us suddenly so cautious and so we taking some drastic step towards aging and all. See, I would define age is what? Age is simple, your capability, your capacity, capability, ability, or your performance. Simple word. I would like to put it, your performance. You want to do something, you can do it. There's nothing which stops you from doing it. Okay? Right? When you say age, at a particular age, now this is why I would particularly writing about it, because see, as a child, when you were 3, you were 4, you were just learning to walk. Okay? So there are different stages of your life, and every stage is a transformation, and each transformation teaches you certain lessons which are remarkable for your growth. Right? But now in the process you say what's great in getting age, what's the benefit, what lessons even if you're learning certain lessons in 50s and 60s, what benefit that itself? That also serves lots of benefit. Okay, how? That will be doing it later. So now when we say age is something which is related with your performance or which is related with your ability to do anything and everything at a particular required time. Right? That's like 20s, you can run faster. 30s, you could do anything. Right? You can take any sort of challenges and all, you can perform. You can take 5 flights, 7 flights at a row and still not be tired and all. Maybe running say about 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers without any sort of restriction. Having parties daily is also, but that wouldn't affect you. Because your metabolic system is at peak. So whatever doing it, you're getting the best results, you have the energy, you have the ability and you can perform it. But what happens at your age, as suddenly, I would not say, I said according to me there's nothing which is called age. Whether you are in 50s or whether you are in your 70s or whether you are in your 90s. Okay, there's nothing that you should be really blaming or claiming yourself, oh I have age, so now I can't do this particular thing. See, we get this problem arise only because of one thing, that is your restrictions or your mental barrier. Okay, and how does this mental barrier affect you? How does this mental barriers affect you? See, whatever is we have been talking about these are just the psychological or just the words or like simple excuses to just give us like a reason कि okay, I can't do a particular thing because I'm aged, because my limbs are weak, because my knees does not support me, or low, I can't remember things and all. But there is definitely like if you see a few years back, your mothers, your grandmothers, and like any of you people who has been still living and all, you'll find all those people never had all so many problems as we are having it nowadays. So what's the difference? But after 60s also they never used to have joint problem. Why we should have it at 40s? Why after 70s also they were like fit and fine. Their memory power was great. They could walk. They had nice hair. They had like nice wrinkle. In fact, when I've taken this like topic. So from last 6 months, I've been studying about like the skin. Does the skin really changes after like 60s or 70s? And I have met across at least not less than 30 to 35 people who have crossed above 60s and all, and their skin is absolutely sparkleless. They don't even have a single line also. Then I was discussing with one of like a few of my patients and my students and all. I said like how is like the skin in case of your elders, your grandmothers, your mother-in-law, your great mother-in-laws and all. So even they reciprocated. Okay, even at the ages like my mother-in-law passed out at like 84, my this like my daddy passed out at this and that, but they didn't have any sort of a thing. They never knew what a wrinkle is. And I have been like last 6 months I have been observing, and I have been working on this program which is called Botox, which is I have introduced this in 2010. I have worked first thing on 2008, but practically I have made a whole package in 2010, and from there we are doing a lot of discussion, forum and workshops and like things like what way the skin really rankles. Even that way also we found out that there is nothing which is really like related to the formation of a skin, except if you take like few, you can say factors or the causes or the formation which can lead to this like the whole process. Now what are those things? Let us understand that. What is human body made up of? Cells. Water. Apart from water, what are the other factors? Yeah, but now I'm talking about the constituent, the element, the basic composition element. Air, water, then earth. Panch tattva, what do you call it? That we call it aag, mitti, hawa, pani and akash. 5. Okay. Now each and every element has to be there in a particular like proportion or in a particular amount, and that resembles or that constitute to a particular you can say functioning of your organ or metabolic and the physiological like what you can say balance of your body. Okay, so now we say if you have panch tattva, okay, and if this panch tattvas are balanced properly, like when there is nothing which is in excess and there is nothing which is in not been balanced, they will give rise to whatever food we get, we eat. How many what is the food that we get, what we eat, that get divided, that we get converted into how many things? Whatever food that we eat in, that get converted into first thing, this is called plasma. Okay, plasma is like the liquids, the bolus mass which has got all the nutrition, but all the heavier molecules has been like distributed, has been converted into the smaller one. This plasma get converted into blood. This blood gets converted into muscle. Muscles goes to form fat. Fat goes to form bone. Bone goes to form bone marrow. And this bone marrow, the last chapter is like either the production of a sperm in case it's a male, and if it's a female it would be ovum. So can you see how many stages like your food gets divided into? Plasma, blood, muscle, fat, bone, bone marrow and sperm. How many stages this are? How many stages this are? 8. 7, na? You leave this, so this will be 7, na? The food we are talking about. The 7 stages. So this whole cycle gets completed in 49 days. That is, whatever you have produced the food in, I mean whatever you have eaten it, from that food, like transforming it to your sperm or your ova, that the whole process gets completed into 49 days. Now suppose I'm talking about, I have some problem which is related with, now say most of people have problem related with your skin, okay, so that will come over here, because if your circulation is not proper, then you'll have all those problems. So these are the factors which are important to make a whole well-being, or the whole proper mechanism of your body would be working if this whole process is in the right order. Do you understand? If this process is somehow obstructed, now what are the things which would be obstructed? What are the things which would be obstructed? When you are eating the food, what happens? What are the things that we try to contemplate when you are eating? When you're eating, what are the things that you try to contemplate when you're eating? What are the things we add on and all? Nowadays what we are adding, we try to add on more. Huh?
Junk food.
No, I'm not talking about junk food and all. What is the system? See, whether it's a junk food or a normal food, we eat it, you have finished it up. But the thing, what you eat and your body is not able to absorb, that's the thing which is going to cause a harm. And basically what are those category of people? Those are your coloring agent, okay, your preservative, your flavors, all those things which cause a sort of pollutant to your environment. So we say, when you're talking about an aging factor, there are 3 factors you got to be understand. Okay, your environment, when you talk about environment, what do I mean? Internal and external both. Internal means whatever is the processes which are occurring in your body, each and every process has to be worked in harmony with the other system. Do you get it? That means if your lungs are working properly, obviously your heart, your circulation would be proper, your oxygen, there would be a lot of oxygen which would be absorbed in your body. And if you are having the required amount of oxygen which is circulating in your body, so what will happen? All your bodily process, your movements would be proper. Even if you have some sort of degradation, your spinal, you said, the doctors told you your disc has been ruptured, it has been fused, or your muscles have been compressed, or you have a gap between this and that. But if your oxygen absorption level is really good enough, you can outrule this particular problem to a good extent. Why? The reason is that oxygen is, whenever there is a metabolic activity occurs, it occurs only in the presence of oxygen. And as a result, what is the thing which is will reduce? Your carbon dioxide and oxygen. Carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide is in certain cases when there is too less of the oxygen, then carbon monoxide. Otherwise carbon dioxide and water has been produced up. So what happened when this carbon dioxide, which is result as a byproduct, is not in a position to move out from the body? So what happened? It keeps on fluffing into the cells and the tissues of your system. Do you get it? So the system which has to be reciprocated, or the system which should be having good amount of oxygen, instead of having good amount of oxygen, they get saturated with carbon dioxide. And that's the first reason you will feel you have no energy. You feel fatigue, you feel tired. If you feel fatigued, tired and exhausted and all, the first thing you should understand, okay, your body has more than required amount of carbon dioxide. So first thing what you can do is just try to remove this carbon dioxide. और द बैच नेचुरली सबसे सिंपल तरीका क्या होता है, अगर आप ब्रीदिंग में इम्पॉर्टेंट अगर आप ब्रीदिंग कर सकते हैं तो आप ब्रीदिंग कीजिए. Otherwise, the next important is there are many people who are not very good in breathing or who do not believe into breathing that much. And for that people, we just suggest them, make it a point to walk at the time of rising sun or setting sun, and usually barefooted. Okay, the reason behind doing, see this point which I'm telling you, barefooted, I'm emphasizing again and again in all my workshop, in all my blogs and all. See, nowadays we are living a lot of, like, you know, we spend our time, a lot of our time into AC, like, you know, environment. And obviously if I've been working in my office, like I'm there in my office around 7, by the time I leave it's like 8:30, like 8 hours, 10 hours I'm there in a completely AC surrounding. So by the time you go home, obviously then after going home, after taking bath, and then again you feel good. Now at night time, and also again you'll switch on AC, and also your body gets saturated with that, like, you know, AC, that's like, you know, air. So what happens if you walk barefooted in a natural environment? Like that has to be either in a sandy area or a small, like, you know, or a pebble ground. Pebble ground मतलब वो चुभने वाले नहीं होते, वो जो soft pebble नहीं होते हैं, जो roundish होते हैं, those sort of a thing. Okay, either the sandy area, pebble ground, or like, you know, somewhere, or a wetted grass. Okay. So this does what? When you walk in this particular place or in this environment, it, like, you know, you call it like, you know, you owe your system. मतलब जो भी आपकी body का debris है, that 8 hours of AC, okay, 10 hours of AC, or like, so there are a lot of people who do not walk into the AC. They have been always out, like, you know, marketing, doing their marketing job, or like, you know, field works and all, where you require to be out in the sun and all. So the sun drains up their energy. So in our case, like, you know, you have been living where, like, you know, temperature is lesser than, like, you know, say 16 or 15 degrees most of the time. But those people are again, like, you know, walking around 30, 32, 33, then continuously walking in the public vehicle, like, you know, trains, buses and all, which is again, like, you know, causing so much damage, so much pollutant, add on so much pollutant to your body. So what happens when you walk on these areas? You know, your whole system works at an energy or reach at a temperature which is favorable for your body to act on. Because, you know, anything and everything works at a particular temperature. आपके बॉडी में हर चीज़ जो है एक पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर पे ही होती है. दैट्स व्हाट वी कॉल इट होमोस्टेसिस. Lesser than that or above than that, nothing would work. No matter आप 1 लाख का सप्लीमेंट ले लो, आप 5 लाख के इंजेक्शंस ले लो, आप है ना कॉस्मेटिक सर्जरी करवा लो 15 लाख की, 50 लाख की, nothing would work. Because to make it work, the body's system is like a mechanism. You know, when you have to start your those tankers or your, like, whatever is, like, you know, your what do you call it, your adapter or generators. That generator is being generated, then it can supply, like, you know, for the whole building. But suppose if your system is just, like, you know, about one, like, you know, room or just lesser than that, half of the system are 30 degrees and half of the system are about 60, 65, 80s and all. So then nothing would work. So we say the first thing is that you got to understand that keep your environment, internal and external, as close to the natural surrounding as possible. Now, I'm not telling you कि भैया कि आप है ना इतनी गर्मी में है तो आप AC नहीं चालू करो, AC में नहीं चालू करके गर्मी के मारे मर जाओ. No, fine, ठीक है. You're living in AC environment, that's nothing, like, you know, bad about it. But then you have to make sure that you spend some time. Okay, 45 minutes is good enough. You can spare it. Otherwise, only if you say barefooted at the time of rising or the setting sun, if you spend 10 to 15 minutes, that's enough for your body to activate completely. Because at this particular time, your third eye, this is, we call it, like, you know, the place of your pineal and the pituitary gland, they are the most active, and they secrete certain neurotransmitters which, like, you know, works on a very, very, like, you know, good, which plays a very, very great role on your well-being. And obviously if you are naturally healthy, then you can go much more ahead to keeping yourself age also at a later stage also. right? So when you say internally and externally, so external environment तो you know कि जो fluctuation है temperature के वो आपको नहीं करना है. Now what do you say कि how do you keep your internal environment healthy? Now what do you mean by internal environment? What are the things that we pollute our body with internally? See, nowadays we are using so many chemicals in the names of just well-being. We are using so much of we are depending so much on shampoos, then moisturizers, then face cream, then shaving creams, and this and that and that. Okay. So again, the thing is that it's not that you have to be living like a saint, just abolish everything, don't do all those things and all. Again, understand, do use whatever you want to use, okay, but then again before night or before whenever you know that you are going to use a thing, like females, they're going to be out for the party, for a kitty party or a function or something. So make that sort of makeup or something which lasts, okay, for a couple of hours only, and then afterwards as and when it's not required, don't always clog your body with chemicals, medicines or whatever in the name of well-being. Just don't keep on applying, because what happened, we have been so much fascinated by this idea, oh, this cream makes my skin good, okay, this things make me feel better, okay, this shampoo makes me makes my hair good and all. So we are anytime and every time we are clogging our system. Lot of chemical internally or externally, whether you are applying it, if you are not taking if you are not washing and rinsing it thoroughly, that's also one of the reason for losing hair, that's also one of the reason for bad skin nowadays. Okay, you see nowadays mostly in the girls and even the boys in the range of 20 and 25, 28, they are having maximum problem related with your skin. Why? Because 15 to 18 used to be the teenager shape where your hormones used to be unstable and used to have all this problem. But nowadays you are getting this problem because they are so much using deos, perfumes, looking at your and then all sort of things. So when you're using after every half an hour, after every 2 hours, you're using a deo, you're using a sunscreen and all. And mind you, these are heavy chemicals. And every one application which you apply on your body, that is necessarily keeps on your body for about 5 to 6 hours. And these guys are replenishing or eating it up after every half an hour, after every 2-3 hours and all, which becomes by the evening you already have at least 60 to 80 ml you have already put it down on your skin. And since they are heavy chemicals, it becomes very difficult for the body to throw them off. So they start sulking deeper and deeper. And since being heavy chemical, they would be going further. And they would be affecting your pores, they would affecting your skin, and later on, see, your skin is your skin is your second lungs. Do you understand? Your skin is your second lung, because your lungs are situated only in your chest. But what is the process? What are your lungs reciprocated with? They exchange and they throw off the कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, दे एक्सचेंज यू वो पूरा आपका बॉडी में से टॉक्सिन्स निकालते हैं. सेम थिंग योर स्किन डज. Whatever is not required, your sweat, your carbon dioxide, the anything which is not required, that has been thrown out of your body through your skin. And what happens? We are clogging it so much and so much. It becomes difficult for the skin to respire also. This is the two factors we can say. Another thing is that another thing that we have been always crazy about nowadays is macro diet, and every 2 hours you diet, every 3 hours you eat, every 2 hours you have to have some morsel and all, and you're not bothered. एक आपका finish नहीं हुआ meal, and then after again 2 hours you're having the second one. You just get so fascinated, okay, every 2 hours you'll eat and you lose weight. You never bothered about every 2 hours when you are having so many meals. The more meals you'll have, the more eating is there in your body, the more will be the kind of wrong composition that you will take in. And the more wrong composition is, obviously your system is going to get go on the haywire. So then second thing is that even a method of extravasation is also not proper. Okay, so what happened? You feel okay, you do not have constipation, you do not have acidity. That does not mean that your body's system is completely clear. So that also add on to lot of toxins, lot of pollutant in your body. Right? If you if you anytime go to got a chance to visit to any of this naturopathic center like Jindal, Kevaladam, or all this the Sulli Kanchan and all, they make you do what? Have natural raw food, and they make you at least walk for say about 5 kilometers every twice to thrice in a week. So the moment you walk for twice or thrice in a week about 5 kilometers, you naturally feel good. And that's what we do here. Once in a month you will decide on, okay, now I have to go for a walk and all, and after 10 minutes and after 2 days and all, that's all gone. So first thing is that if you want to make sure you don't come across the problem which are related with your aging, is that keep your environment internally and externally clear. Okay, so first I said the simplest way, you could walk barefooted, or the other way, if you feel you have lots of toxins and all, then you should make it a point to have something like enemas or natural laxative or the food which help you to eliminate those systems. Second thing would be what? Now this is environmentally, if you're keeping clean and clear. What is the thing which constitute lot of problem in a life? You're feeling good, suddenly you feel bad. Negative thoughts. So not only the physical processes which add on to your trouble, actually speaking, we say if you have 6 months of wrong eating habit, and you had 3 hours when you have scolded somebody, or somebody has scolded you, or you had a pang of anger. Okay, so that 3 hours of anger, it takes you so much of the energy which a person who works on the field would take you for about 3 days. So internal environment, the most important thing is that your emotional quotient, that's what we call it. Keep your emotional quotient. How do I spell quotient?
Quotient.
O?
Quo, not I. Quo.
Okay.
Quotient.
Okay. Now let's come to this emotional quotient. How can you keep this high?
Positive.
Okay, but positive, how many times we are positive? That's very good. I think you are one exception. But most of the time if I ask, like I said, you are always...
start very positive, but it's how long you last, how long...
No, it's we are all human beings. You start, but at the same time, it's a plus and a minus phase, which keeps on occurring. It's a graph, which is continuously changing its position. Now, but if it changes too much your position, it will directly affect your behavior. It will directly affect your relationship, and it will directly affect your existence. How? That's as the person who commented here right now, okay, all the cells in a body works at a different age, at a different time. Okay, and when you're walking, see, whenever you're walking and whenever you are having a negative emotion, there is a change in a thought pattern, and that decreases the biochemistry of your cell. And as the biochemistry of the cell is being changed, the entire cell or the entire tissue or the organ which has been working very nicely throwing off the toxins, nicely kidneys are working, lungs are happily doing all the exchanges of the gases and all, everything becomes all gone. Okay, kidneys ruptures, lungs gets pacified, heart beats gets sunk down. So the whole thing gets very bad. And the reason is what? Just change in an impulse, just change in a thought pattern. So you see, more than doing anything physical activity, what you got to be doing is try to keep your emotions well balanced and controlled. Okay, no matter, you see, if I give you what happens if you shout at kids, what way they react?
They'll shout back.
They shout back. Okay, and then after shouting, then you say, now you got to finish up this food, and what do you say? They will try to throw it out. They say, no, I'm not going to eat it. So no matter how good food you have prepared for someone, but if you try to give it in a negative mode, the person would not enjoy. So understand, your body is not only active when you're eating your food, it is active at each and every time of your body. It's like how do you have those nowadays, those reality shows? Everything of yours is scrutinized. What you're doing in your bathroom, what you're doing in your drawing room, what you're sleeping, where you're slipping your head up or down, like everything they show you. So your cells are so active and they monitor each and every impulse of yours. Do you understand? And this slightly changed pattern of your negativity or something goes wrong here and there is a hit and everything gets chronically squeezed out. And you know what, in our life nowadays, as far as emotions are concerned, I said most of us are emotionally hungry. Basically, you don't get the spouses are not reciprocating to the partners, the husbands are not reciprocating to the wife, the children are not getting the adequate time. That's a big story. But that's what emotionally most of us are not so stable as we used to be there for a few days or a few years ago. Now what you can do? Now that's a fact. What you can do? If you are not emotionally happy, what you can do? How can you say? Now you said, emotionally I'm not happy, my wife does not treat me well, or my husband does not treat me, or my boss is the one who always comes with sword on my head. So what would I do? Again, I keep myself happy. If you are not going to keep yourself happy, how do you expect yourself not to age? You're going to have those frown lines, you're going to have those cramps in your stomach, you're going to have issues related with your leg, because these are all nothing but your stubbornness not to move forward with a particular situation. So what do?
Be happy.
But how can you be happy when you are not happy?
Change your mental attitude.
How?
Think positive, think constructive.
Well, how can you think constructive when your wife is scolding you?
Don't react, sir. Yes, avoid reaction.
Yeah, that's what we were discussing. Yeah, change the mind. Yeah, that's what you say. Yeah, either you change the situation, you can change the man or change the woman.
I don't think that's so easy to do it.
Well, actually,
You are taking it.
If one would do that, I don't know what will happen in India especially.
what
Not
India? The
every-
whole world.
That's why
The
they are
whole
so
world
happy
is-
there. They're much more happier than us.
No,
No, that's not the thing. That's not the thing. That's not true. See, nothing changes you. See, a human
But
being.
there they change the spouses like.
No. But even then, even if you see the average, the happiness index is far low as compared to what we see. The relationship, see, a relationship is a relationship. Whether you take it on a concrete ground or you don't take it on a concrete ground. But you can't, if you say you have left somebody, there are so many patterns which left unfilled. And half of your life you think of going on to dosing, oh, why did that happen, this. So, yes, life, more than spending, it goes on fulfilling those patterns also. So it's not that. Okay, maybe for the time being they have the other option. Okay, which is not available in our case. But that's, even times are changing here also. There are lots of people are having many partners. That's also one thing. Yeah, so we are talking about emotional quotient. We say if you can't do anything about a particular situation, what you can do, just maintain at least a level of happiness through inducing some sort of happiness zone into your life. It could be through a human being, it could be through a hobby, it could be through a circumstances, or a seva or a circle, whatever it could be.
But
Okay.
happiness is an emotion only, It's a choice whether you want to be happy or you want to be happy.
No, that's right. That's an emotion. And then obviously you have to see, you can't be happy if you see a thing. Okay, unless and until this $1,000 million. right? But you can be happy only with a thought. Okay, maybe like for about 10 days and all. The happiness is only reciprocated when you are in the company of your loved one, your dear ones, whatever form it could be. Okay, and that mutual exchange of relationship or emotion, that is what a true happiness is all about. Rest is all we are just bargaining. You make you give your husband something, he gives you something, you're mutually doing nothing but just what do we call it?
Compromise.
No, compromise exactly. It's like there's a particular word.
Barter system.
Barter system. It's a barter system. You give something, you take something. It's like that sort of a thing. So happiness is not a barter system. Yes, but you have to do something to get it.
Give and take.
Give and take, yeah, but don't take too much of the the burden of the others. That's also a fact. So we say emotional quotient means introduce at least if one person cannot get you the happiness, we won't say okay you change your wife and all. At least you find out your way where you can have some sort of happiness for your own self. Create zones, create people, create spheres, okay, or the areas in which will make try to think about what are the things which will make you happy. Maybe dancing, singing, going out, traveling and all, whatever. Try to do that thing, right? Now what will be the third thing according to you? Now emotionally you have cleared out. Now emotionally, first thing is that you have made yourself lighter, okay, by keeping your environment, internal and the external happy. Second thing was you are reaching to a really substantial height because emotionally your quotient is stable. You are not on a negative side. What would be the other thing that you can say would contribute to this particular factor of aging?
Worries, tension, worries.
No, we are not bothered about it.
Okay.
That's we have surpassed this stage where worries or the things can affect us anyway. This is emotionally, internally you have cleared it out. Second thing is that whatever is the emotional part, either you change the wife or you change the husband or you try to be all the time out so that there is no confluences. What is the other thing that you can say would attribute? Sorry?
Drugs, maybe drinks, alcohol, cigarettes.
I'm not talking about the causative factor. I'm not talking about if you want to have an anti-aging plan then you should not be having drugs, you should not be having this and all. We're talking about the causative, the real things which works from you till your each and every step. This is one. Second is emotional quotient. What would be the third thing that would really help you to be what you are, or keep age really far off at the far end from yourself?
Thoughts.
Physically active.
Yes, physically active.
Exercise. Exercise.
Physical not necessary. Physically active, that's one part. What else you can say? Physical active is one part. What about उसके अलावा और क्या कह सकते हैं आप? फिजिकल एक्टिव के अलावा आप क्या कह सकते हैं?
Proper rest.
Sorry,
Rest, proper rest.
Sleep.
I'm not talking about the factors. I'm not bothered about factors. Factors you'll talk about. There are 1200 things, and each and everything we discuss so much in length that you'll find it's absolutely of no use to talk about those things.
To increase your or improve your spiritual quotient, so-called spiritual or mental quotient.
Okay, that will come in the emotional quotient.
Emotion is again anti-spiritual.
There are also emotions.
No, we are not bothered about. See, once you you can talk about spirituality when you are mentally and physically happy. See, an unhappy person would not talk about God. Okay, when you reach to a particular level, then only you can think about those things. There, I would say if you are happy, you have made yourself happy, you have grown up as as a father, as a person in certain stages, then obviously your mind reaches to a level when you start trying to connect with your Lord. You try to grow spiritually also. Any other factors you would say we can add on, or I think that would be just we can contribute any other things which can be added over here. No clues. See, I have.
Muneerah more often.
Sorry.
Meet Dr. Muneerah more often.
But if you keep on meeting Dr. Muneerah only more often, what way you'll work out your plan? You have to work out on your plan also. Okay. See, we say there's like one thing I would request everybody, there's a page which I have created on the Facebook, Shifa Naturopathic Center, on which I have written a code. Otherwise, if you have a Gmail account, on the Gmail account also I have created a page which is called Dr. Muneerah Kuraishi. On that also there's one particular phrase which I must thank that girl who has written it, and it's so obvious and it's so, I would say, that's what the philosophy of life, and that's what I've written it over there also. Understand, whatever words which comes out from our mouth, they are like seeds. They goes and gets imprinted or absorbed into the heart of the others, right? Absorbed into the heart of the others. If they have been uttered with a good wish, it grows. It grows into big trees. Always remember that person with positivity, with with affection and all. And if that's not been said, that's not been uttered in a positive frame of mind, there's always a degree of negativity, or you say वो अंदर ही अंदर वो जड़ जा रही है, वो अंदर आपको खोखला कर रही है. It's like that. So whatever occurs in your heart, okay, if you can control all your, I won't say all your emotion, if you can just control your words, I would say half your battle, whether it's about health, aging or anything, that's been already won. Because whenever a impulse or a thought or a pattern, it always arises from your heart, and that arises either as a consequence of an action or a word or a reciprocation or a talk which has been occurred between you or anybody else, right? So that would either push you off or that would lift you off. Do you get it? So anything, even I say even if you talk about your aging factor, it has to arise from your heart. Your heart has to have the energy. Energy means you should have that impulse, that fiving, or that, what do you call it, enthusiasm of living healthily and heartily. Do you get? And that healthily and heartily will never ever come from mind. It will come first from the heart. When whenever you are in a gloomy mood, that there is something which strikes in your heart, and then take the idea further, then you reciprocate in details, this, then you plan it out in detail, fraction it, okay, plus and minus and all, execute it, and then all. So the first step, I always tell it, make this, I call it there. Or simple, I say, whatever is your game plan, whether it is related with your health, physical activity, physical disease, mental frame of mind, aging, whatever it could be. आपको कैंसर है, आपको एंजियोप्लास्टी है, आपको स्टंट डाला हुआ है, आपको ब्लड प्रेशर आपका नॉर्मल नहीं होता है, आपको नींद नहीं आती है सालों से, whatever it is, or just a problem about aging. We say hriday, or simple way I can pull it, we say screen and observe. Now let me tell you what is screening and observing. Screen and observe yourself daily. Choose out, don't do meditation, don't do yoga, don't do exercise, but whatever time of the day which is convenient to you, once in a day, 5 minutes or 5 minutes. I always say people keep 10 minutes aside, doing nothing but understanding what you have done throughout the day. Okay? When you do, what is the reason for doing? Because most of us are right now, I don't know how many people are really plan out day and all, but I know 90% of the people are in a mad rush of doing the thing. I start, okay, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock ऑफिस से निकले, 10 बजे ऑफिस में पहुँचे, 10 से 12 बजे तक मीटिंग अटेंड किए, 1 बजे खाना खाया, खाना खाने के बाद आउटडोर मीटिंग की, ओके शाम में घर में आए, 2 घंटे वाइफ के साथ गुजारा या मूवी के लिए चले गए, गया दिन खत्म हो गया, फिर एक पार्टी में चले गए, हो गया. You know, your whole life, if you see the pattern of your life for the last 5 years or 10 years, you would see it's all that only. Okay? So what does it mean when we say screen and observe, analyze, like, you know, what you have done? Like in the whole day, when you start your day, we say, like, you know, when you start your day, like, you know, just rub your hands and then, like, you know, hug yourself, like, you know, greet yourself first with a smile. The moment you greet yourself with a smile, you know, the half battle is won. बिकॉज जो पूरा रात भर कर बॉडी को एनर्जी नहीं मिला, आपको स्टैगनेशन है, सुबह में उठने के बाद यू नो आफ्टर हाफ एन आवर और 2 hours you have a very, like, you know, chaotic schedule where you need to do hard, like, you know, very harsh presentation or things like where you need to do a very, like, you know, tug of war with your colleague and something, you know, you already get that, like, you know, the impulse, that positiveness, yes, I can come, I can do that. So we say 10 minutes a day. If you can do it in the morning, nothing like it. सुबह में नहीं होता, इतना टाइम नहीं है. रात में सोने से पहले. Better if you can do twice in a day, you'll find your life getting changed within a month's time. You know what? Because हमने अपनी लाइफ को पूरा इन चीज़ों में घुसेड़ दिया है जिनका हमारी लाइफ में कोई मतलब ही नहीं है. We do not have time for a walk, but 4 hours we'll sit in front of TV. Okay, we do not have time to meet our relatives, but you'll go and, like, you know, go for a derby or, like, you know, a fancy fashion show or something. Spend 4 hours there, 2 hours coming and going, like half days you'll spend it down. Those things are of no use to you. So when you screen yourself and more than, like, you know, getting, like, you know, the unnecessary, like, debris or, like, you know, what you say, the clinches which are not required in your body. When you do this every day, you'll find out the reason कि अगर मेरे को ये बैक में पेन हो रहा है तो उसका रीज़न क्या है. क्योंकि मैं लंच के बाद जब बैठता हूँ और कंटिन्यूसली 3 घंटे तक बैठता हूँ तो यहाँ पे मेरे को एसिड बनना, बिकॉज आफ्टर दैट आई एम नॉट हैविंग. और उस टाइम में मैंने चाय बहुत पीता हूँ क्योंकि दैट आई एम हैविंग लॉट्स ऑफ विजिटर एंड ऑल. So, you know, it's more not only, like, you know, spiritual, or it's not only, like, you know, something analytical, it will help you to understand your, like, you know, your schedule, but it will help you a lot for your physical problem. You know, nowadays the trend is what, you go to a doctor, he'll give you, like, you know, 20 tests, and after 20 tests also you would not land up on anything if you're on healthy ground. Or normally whenever the problem is arises, the problem does not get manifested till the time it has really gone on to the grave side. This way you can safeguard yourself from any sort of grave complication. And my point is, I'm not talking of the grave thing. When you do this every day, you know, when you are under tension, the body gets, you know, the first fundamental role when your body is under stress, it gets tightened up immediately. It gets frigid, it gets rigid. But whenever you're planning, you know, when you're planning at liberty, you'll find your body is slowly unwinding. Do you get it? And if your muscles are unwinding, the muscles are relaxed, your spinal cord would be relaxed. Understand? And your spinal cord has got a direct relevance with your cerebrospinal fluid. The fluid which is there here, the fluid which is there here, the fluid which is there in most of the round joints. Do you get it? So when you're doing this planning every day, your body gets more time to unwind. There would be more neurotransmitters which would be released into your system without thinking about happiness, loveliness, darkness, shadiness, no-ness, nothing. Do you get it? So this is a cycle which people used to follow earlier. And they used to be healthy. This is a cycle we are not following. We say if I have to be healthy, bone healthy है तो healthy bone के लिए वो वाला supplement ले लो, ये वाली इसके लिए वो वाला supplement ले लो, इसके लिए ये ले लो. Nothing works. See, the body works only when you give it's a lifestyle modification program. And those are always simple. They would not cost you a penny. It's only when you have disrupted the whole cycle to that extent when you have not given it sunshine, when you have not walked it up, when you have not given like the food at the right time, okay, just given the fancy food and not resting, just busy with an endless cup of tea, coffee and the other stuff and all, without thinking about whether it is really required for you and all. So then it's a sad deteriorate. One simple thing I'm telling you, just relax and plan out your day. And anyhow you got to be doing it, but we are doing that in 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes weighs your at least 30 to 60 days before you finally realizing, oh, this is not required. I am supposed to require not on this point, on this particular project, this way. And if you do it like this, you would realize it maximum in 3 days time. Because then again, when your neurotransmitter is released, when your cerebrospinal fluid is maximum activate, because you are planning it every day, your muscles are not under chaos, the muscles are not in the stress condition. Immediately your pituitary and the pineal glands take over. These are the master glands and they are working. Other glands, आपका adrenal का नहीं काम करेगा तो भी चलेगा, आपका thyroid नहीं काम करेगा तो भी चलेगा, because they are the master one. You said you are up, means everything has to work. Do you get it? So even if you feel the skin is getting a little bit slowly saggy, it's not coming up to that particular mark, you'll find slowly 10 days over the time you will feel automatically those crazes which were more noticeable 10 days before, that's already being decreased automatically. So that's what we do at a center, that's what we do, how to crease out those things. And that's what we all can do it. You don't need an external supplement, you don't need an external advice, you don't even need any sort of supplement. Yes, but if you come to us, we'll give you a proper way to tackle all this thing. And this is what we have been telling you, how far it will take. We are not talking about using heavy chemicals, cream, cosmetic surgery and all, nothing. And you would feel everything automatically coming and showing it on your face. Your skin would be better, your hair would again start getting a voluminous thing, your structure would be better, your eyesight also up to a good length, that also works. Okay, then all your limbs and all, because cerebrospinal fluids means wherever you have round joints, it has to work on that. So we were always scared, because the moment we think about aging, oh, my teeth won't be there, how would I look without teeth, oh, my skin would look bad, worse, or my spinal cord would get crumpled, I won't walk like this, I'll walk like that. Why, if you are keeping a normal good posture, why should you have a crumpled spine? There should not be any reason for you to be having a crumpled spine. So that's what you got to be understand. Whenever you talk about anti-aging, people would say, oh, anti-aging, you need to take antioxidant formulas, okay, this food has got this antioxidant, okay. Nowadays we are all having good, proper quality food, but how many of us are really healthy? We do not have memory is worse, locomotion is okay, so, right? The other factors are also, no, nobody can say I'm really onto the mark. Because we are not understand कि nothing, ये जो चीज़ होता है माइंड बॉडी का कोऑर्डिनेशन उस वक्त होता है जब उसमें आपका दिल कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा. अगर आपका दिल कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं करता है, आप उसमें से सरपास हो जाओगे. So that's what always make it a point. So that's what I said, start your day. Okay, start your day with your planning, and your planning has to be perfect. वो प्लानिंग में यही नहीं है कि सिर्फ बिजनेस का जितना है उतना ही करो कि भैया ये टाइम पे इससे मीटिंग होती है, ये नहीं, क्योंकि बिजनेस यू वुड बी ऑन योर फीट when you are healthy. Okay, so you have work when you have feet, but when you do not have feet, the work won't come to you. So for that you need to keep your offspring, your siblings, your parents, the other part, because they are the one who stands with you. So when we say plan it out, so don't only plan out your business activity, plan out activity with your wife, with your husbands, with whatever you are good at, whatever you can comfortable, and maintain a constant time. ऐसे नहीं है कि आपको 12 घंटे 14 घंटे काम करना ही है. See, keep 8 hours working. See, 2 hours, then literally spend, get involved with your family, get involved with your friends. You would be surprised how lively they are. You would say like, you have really missed out a part of that. Okay. So these are the factors that needs to be like, elaborated rather than that cosmetic factors or like, tea, alcohol and the other things and all. If you keep this thing, even if your other factors are a little bit higher on the lower ground, because our body has such a fabulous mechanism. It can take on anything and everything provided this and this is working properly. We do what? We cut out the mechanism here, we cut out from here, and then we keep on like, just ye wala aa gaya, supplement, aaj ye wala le lete, aaj ye wala le lete, aaj ye. Nothing would work on it. A plan, a detailed plan, execute and then persistently engross it in your life. That would help you in anything and everything what you are covering. So with that we'll wind it up, and if there is any question we can, you all can stay. Otherwise,
the third item, there is